I don't like titles in general.
Yeah.
I want to be a hacker. I want to be a writer. I just think it's what is it you're actually putting effort into. So
Yeah.
So just making those things makes me happy, and so that was just writing them all out was cathartic because it seemed like when I was like 20 that like, there was like a million things I wanted to do. It's much easier to write everything out and realize there's only 100 things I want to do. Even that's like less than you would think.
Hello, and welcome on yet another episode of the Accelerometer. Today we have James, who is a YC alumni, and I'm really excited to have James on. I'd love to hear a little bit about what you're currently working on.
Okay, is this? Maybe I should ask. What is this? this is like startups.
Where are we?
So are we going over what startup we're working on? Just startup stuff in general.
Just life.
Life. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of startups. I've also done
Yeah.
YC twice. So like we just
You did
talk
like
about
open
random
source
shit.
robotics, right?
That's what I'm currently doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also what you're doing as well, right?
Yeah. Not robots though. I mean,
Right,
kind of
right.
robots, but they're purely digital robots.
Yeah. So the benefit of like open source robots is people need to pay for robots. So even if it's off the shelf parts, like they can't do it their own. So you can make the software really cheap or free, and it's still no one's gonna copy you because they still need to get the robots.
So like the robot Linux.
Yeah. So it's I think it's a pretty good way of making money because
Yeah.
no matter what, you have to pay for a robot. Yeah.
Do you have community members working with your open source software?
No, I mean our company's like 8 months old, so this is
Yeah.
it's like me and half of another employee.
Do you care if you have community members?
At some point, yeah, because what happens is we have a bunch of people who want slightly different things, and we don't have the time to modify it for what they want. So it's
Yeah.
basically it's like a sorting machine for like kind of general purpose sorting, but like it's mostly
Yeah.
for like right now contact lenses and optometry stores. And then some people are like, I want to turn into a vending machine, or I want to turn into like this other thing. And so that is the part where it's interesting if they either
like a contact lens vending machine.
yeah, which like depending on the country is legal or has to work a certain way to be legal. So like
Yeah.
rather than us having to do it for each specific one, it's much easier if they either band together and hire someone or like they're the ones modifying it.
In which countries is it legal?
South Korea, that was the one
that's
we've
it.
heard. I think Germany too. There's like a few. It's basically almost all the ones outside the U.S.
Can you get like assuming like it checks if you have a prescription? Can you just like get it to say like whatever contact lens you want, you get a prescription for?
So yeah, basically in the U.S. at least, the doctor needs to be in the loop all the way to the like you receiving it in your hand. So like you could make it work, but like you would have to go up to a vending machine and then it like calls a doctor and then the doctor like on the spot approves it or like pre-approves it, and then when like oh that's for sure my patient, and then you could receive whatever prescriptions in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
But again, this isn't like done, so like there's a lot of
Yeah.
questions when someone does this type of thing.
I could get those laser contact lenses that change colors in the sunlight, shoot lasers at night.
So like in South Korea, they really like the colored lenses, like
Yeah.
make your eyes blue or like a
Yeah.
cat or red or whatever.
Do you wear contacts?
I don't even need them now.
Have you ever worn contacts?
No. I have one eye that needs stuff, so I was debating a monocle, but that's the closest.
A
I've
monocle contact lens.
gone. Yeah, or just I think a monocle would look cooler.
Don't you gotta like dog food though your product?
Yeah, I mean it's more fun to play with the robot part than again, you have to be a doctor to do contacts, so it's not like I could personally do that.
Have you thought about going to medical school?
No, never.
I mean, like you got a dog with the product somehow.
I enjoy the sorting the robot part of it, so that's fun to me. But there are people on our team who are involved. Like one of the people on our team is like runs an optometry store, so that's where it's interesting for him.
So you hired. Well, he's not a doctor, is he?
He was actually our first customer, and now he's like slightly involved in the company.
Oh, that's really wonderful.
Yeah, so that helps a
lot. How did that conversation go?
We installed it in his store, and then like a few days after, while fixing it in his store, we were like, "Do you want to be more involved?"
Okay.
And he was like, "Yeah." So it's very easy, actually.
Does that happen with most of the customers?
I mean, again, we're super early, so
there's
very few like trial customers at this point. But potentially, I guess we'll see. Like, obviously, the ones willing to let a very small company install a robot in your busy Manhattan store, like there's a very small number of those type of people.
What's the most challenging part about running a hardware company?
It's the supply chain is like honestly, you look at every robot company around New York, you see all these like robot arms. And everyone's just buying them from some random Chinese company, and they're getting gouged. Like their price is so extremely high. Usually it's like $40K or higher. If you can get the supply chain down, like and build everything from scratch, you can get really really low.
Yeah,
like we're selling the robot for $12,000, so it's already like a quarter of what these like arms are. But the arms look pretty cool. There's one over here that does, it's called Robert Fried Chicken. They'll like deep fry chicken for you. So that's pretty fun.
And where's Robert involved?
I guess it's the name of the arm.
The arm's name is Robert.
Yeah. I guess because Robot Fried Chicken's like a Adult Swim show, so maybe they couldn't call that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a coffee
How do you think
shop.
the robot feels about that?
I don't think it has feelings. That's why it's really good at frying chicken, because it can get into really hot oil.
You think it would be unhappy about frying chicken if it had feelings?
If it had googly eyes, I think people would empathize with it more than they probably should. Yeah.
More than they should.
Yeah.
You think people would go there and stop it from frying chicken?
I think they would feel bad that it's frying like 120 per hour or something without a break.
Have you ever put googly eyes on any of your robots?
No, honestly, it's so easy to anthropomorphize a robot that no, we have not. But when you're at an optometry conference, there's eyeballs everywhere. Like that's what they really like for swag. So it's sort of, you might accidentally get an eye in there.
Replaceable eyeballs?
There's stress eyeballs, yo-yo eyeballs, mousepad eyeballs. So
Mousepad eyeballs?
Yeah, there's eyes.
You mean a mousepad in the shape of an eyeball, not like an eyeball that doubles as a mousepad?
I think it's a bunch of eyes on top of printed on a mousepad.
Okay, printed on the mousepad, not like surrounding it like
no
some creepy middle school art project.
There was a really creepy balloon made of eyeballs that's like 6 feet high at the conference. I don't know what they were selling, but I just took photos with the balloon. Caught my eye, so there you go.
Well, that was a wonderful pun.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
There's a lot of them at the show.
Yeah. What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of building in the open source?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because people want to help you when they see that, you know, whatever they put in because it'll be unpaid or free or helping their own business, that it stays free and open for them. So there's a benefit to that. And they feel closer to building alongside with you. So I think it's similar to like, you know, Kickstarter is probably not really popular anymore, but the idea of like building with people, I think people really like that because they don't know how to do it. Like, is someone going to help them? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to help them?
Yeah, we're trying. We're
it's wonderful.
Talking with them every day. Like I'll walk to their place is very close to my apartment, so I'll walk there every day. Yeah.
Your clients are close to your apartment.
Yeah. Two of them. Yeah. Both within a 20-minute walk.
So this is like your niche. Your niche is optometry clinics within walking distance of your apartment. Yeah,
which, you know, even if you do a 30-minute walk, that's actually more optometry stores than you would think in Manhattan. That's not on purpose, though. Like, obviously, we're willing to help anyone. We're talking to people in every major city. Texas,
have you
LA.
considered like expanding along like the L?
Funny enough, the first one is on the L, so that would work out if so. But right now, it's a very specific type of optometrist who would want to use this. So,
what type of optometrist is that?
It's typically someone who's run it for less than 2 to 4 years, so they're willing to be open to something weird and new, like a robot. Also, if they're like about to expand or have expanded, that's another big part.
How did you fall on this niche?
Yeah, I mean, it could go back to like my first startup. Really, it's just piling. But basically,
love to hear that story.
I mean, this is like super long. So like, but I'll say at least for this optometry thing, I basically at one point met up with my co-founder, who's like a genius at robotics, and I'm pretty decent at software stuff and building companies. And we met up in Shanghai during COVID, and we kept getting dinner and. We both kind of had this idea for a sorting machine, and so my previous company was in logistics, where you kind of have to like sort stuff on like racks and warehouses. He was coming at it from like a 3D printer, like automating lab company. That was his last one. And so he had this idea of like, could you sort like any kind of general purpose thing? And then we started talking to different industries around Manhattan. So we went to like a jewelry store, and we're like, valuable items, maybe they get worried if they get lost. And like, they were not that interested, to be honest.
Yeah.
Then we went to like, I thought warehouses would be a great one because that was my background, but they don't really have money. So like, unless this is helping them get revenue, they don't really care. And then my co-founder hit upon the optometry store, and he was showing us his back room, which we'd never seen before, either of us. And it had like thousands of these contact trials, they call them. And they're like, yeah, these are expensive. We have like high-paid people who have to deal with them. So, if a robot just did that for us, that would actually be much cheaper and just save a lot of time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, like, you're a CISPA that worked.
What's a CISPA?
A solution in search of a problem.
I mean, we didn't do anything yet.
Okay.
This was an idea.
So as long as you don't build it.
Yeah, because that could take,
it's a solution.
I've already done that many times.
In search of a problem.
Yeah.
Idea.
Yeah, we definitely like sold it. We, like basically this guy agreed to buy it if we built it, and then we started building. We definitely didn't do any building until that point.
So you have a prototype right now.
We have like 5 of them. Yeah.
Where do you keep them?
There's a warehouse in Newark. There's a store which has the prototype. Yeah. There's one in transit from we were just in a Las Vegas conference, so it's somewhere on a truck on the way back to New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you took it to the conference, or like you built it at the conference in front of people in the open?
Yeah.
Open source thing to do.
We did build it the first day of the conference, which honestly we probably cost us a few people who could have been interested, but we didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough new robots, so we had a frame of a robot. We shipped it, and then we brought all the things that go inside, and then we spent basically the first 6-8 hours of that conference building it and making sure it didn't it worked. So that just really took a lot of work. Yeah, I don't think it was the best solution, but we just had limited robots at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back a little bit to Y Combinator.
Sure.
How was your experience? Do you like that question?
No, I do, because I remember what it was like to want to be in Y Combinator and being like, what was it like? Like, did you meet everyone? Did you meet Paul Graham? Did you meet Jessica Limits? Like, and then you just know all the names and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you Google people who wrote about their time there, and I wrote about it, and every 6 months I get a spike in traffic from people Googling and finding my little blog about it. So
you have a blog.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly about the random.
Do you still write for your blog?
Every 2 weeks since 2018.
That's commitment.
Yeah. I'm going to end it in a year, probably. Yeah. I pre-wrote the last 20 or whatever, and then.
Why is that?
Turns out people don't read blogs, so.
Yeah.
It's like writing a book.
This is why we're doing a podcast.
So yeah, no one writes. You can get I didn't use social media until earlier this year, and I've had like 100 times as many views and interaction from like Twitter or TikTok than ever my entire 5 years of blogging.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it's cathartic, right? Writing the blog.
It's a good way to get your thoughts together. Yeah. Also, when I started that blog, I was like severely in debt, and so it kind of. I think it's kind of rare to see someone who like has negative lots of money to having a decent amount of money and has sold some companies. Like, to see that progression in writing, I think is very interesting. Yeah. I don't see that often.
How did your writing change? You're like, I love seeing my own writing.
No, what's weird? I mean, what's weird is a lot of it didn't really change. But I think there's something to. The thing is, if you listen to a wealthy, successful person write, you don't know if that's what they actually were like when they started or not. So you're like skipping all the steps. So I think it's interesting to have to find people who are honest and like, what is it they were actually thinking when they had no money? Did that help them somehow, like create a company or do whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it helped you?
It helped point what it is you want in life, and like it makes you more sure of certain things and formulate your thoughts, which can be helpful in different ways.
What did you want out of life?
Just random ideas, just to build them, hacking on stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just wanted to be a hacker.
There's like a specific list of random ideas, and so it's not like I really don't like people who try to be. I don't like titles in general. I want to be a hacker, I want to be a writer. I just think it's what is it you're actually putting effort into. So just making those things makes me happy, and so that was just writing them all out was cathartic because it seemed like when I was like 20 that like, there was like a million things I wanted to do. It's much easier to write everything out and realize there's only 100 things I want to do. Even that's like less than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which ideas do you still want to do that you haven't had a chance yet?
I think it's all over the place. Like I would love to make a new I mean, it can get really weird or not. Like there's like I want to make this I have this idea for like a 28-hour day. So you like remove a day from the week. So you have like 6 days. And then you add 4 hours to the other 6 days of the week.
Yeah.
And then you basically every day is 4 hours longer. So like your work days, 4 days of 10 hours instead of 5 days of 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're just really sleepy one day.
Well, no, then you fall asleep quicker, right? Because you're really tired.
Yeah.
And then your weekend is 2 20-hour days. So it's 56 hours. So that's pretty nice. It just seems, I don't know if this is a startup or just sort of a vague idea.
Yeah. How would you turn this into a startup?
I would just make a clock and go from there. Not everything should turn into a startup. Some things should, some things shouldn't. But the point is you put the idea out and see what the reaction is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this one of the blog posts?
No.
Okay. What is the blog about?
Blog it was just random thoughts of like, here's a pattern of what I've seen. Like, I'm trying to think of it was just random things. Like for a while I was living out of my car for a bit. I thought it was just fun to write about. And like, I had like 200 items. I saw there was like a subreddit, like 100 items or less. And I didn't want to throw out half my stuff. So I was just like, here's all the things I own. It happens to be 200 by coincidence. So like, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting to write about.
You happen to have 200 things.
I think it was 199, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like some of these things like could have been like broken down into more things.
What do you mean? Oh, like 2 socks. Is that one item or 2?
Yeah.
I forget how I counted it, but you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the MacBook with the charger. Like, did the charger, was that included?
I think it was one item. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the pair of socks was also one item.
Okay.
So let's say 500 tops.
Yeah. If you have like a bowl of popcorn, is each kernel an item?
If the socks rip in half, is that more items?
I think this is one of the most fundamental questions of life.
Yeah. I don't know. How many items do you have?
Too many items.
Yeah, I mean, even
some days I feel like a hoarder too. I've got items on multiple continents. Like it's gotten to the point where just like getting rid of things is actually a challenge. You need to be in one location to get rid of something.
How many continents is your stuff on?
It's, it's in Europe and it's in America.
Okay, so it's 2.
The 2 continents, 3 cities, 2 continents.
Actually, at one point, I did buy a lot of things, and I left some in an apartment in China, and then half in my apartment at Hong Kong, and then a storage unit here in New York.
Yeah.
And then in China, a construction crew stole it all. And then in Hong Kong, I got robbed. Someone broke into the apartment. So I actually lost 2. It was actually much easier because it was taken rather than having to throw it out. And it's much more convenient than having to throw it out yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, in some ways, that was therapeutic. In some ways, very annoying because I didn't want that stolen, some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, like, do you miss it, the stuff?
No, I did film some stuff that I kind of wanted to back up. That was annoying.
Yeah. So I think the moral of the story is don't have stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Sure, man.
Yeah, it was really lovely.
Yeah.